Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. We're talking about Alex again for Street Fighter 6. A lot of Alex lately on the channel. So Street Fighter posted one of their helpful little guides of, hey, here's kind of what the character is all about, because the character is coming out soon. And now we know a lot more about the character. A lot of things we had some speculation, some thoughts on are confirmed, and we learned a few new tricks as well. For one, just out of the gate, just kind of final confirmation he's definitely a buttonsy kind of character, because the range on uncharged stand roundhouse is gigantic. That is a King Kong normal, folks. So use and abuse, I suppose. Lots of details on Prowler Stance as well, not the least of which is he can apparently chain his attacks from it into other attacks. That's cool, and Lariat's plus on block because it has a screen shake, so I'm glad that's kind of a design decision moving forward that it's a lot easier to tell when moves are plus on block. Of course, we always get a little confusing wording here. Like they talk about flash axe, which is flash chop, but just the light or medium version of the move, and saying you have the upper hand even if it's blocked. Which I think they meant to say that if it's blocked, you're safe, as in it'll space you out. Because in the footage provided, Ken clearly recovers first with the jab, right? But safe on block's plenty fine, right? He already has enough plus stuff. He doesn't need any more than what he's got. As for medium axe, combos from mediums, sure, great, and also goes directly into Prowler Stance. And the knockdown with Prowler Stance seemingly gives great post-knockdown pressure as Ken is forced to eat a meaty lariat from the stance. So if you're in the corner and can't back roll this, that's gonna be kind of scary. And Flash Chop, well, we've already learned a bit about it from the previous footage. So good range, leads to full combos on a punish counter. If it connects, it is a back turn, therefore you get various command grabs after the fact. Naturally combos from charged heavy punch. And everything from that we covered in the last video does perhaps a little bit too much damage. And it's plus on block. Again, Alex is dripping in plus frames, so you gotta watch out. And the EX version combos from lights, and he also gives a good knockdown that he can get Prowler pressure from that we covered in the last video. And since I said last video so many times, I'll have it linked for you in the video description if you want to check that out. Knee Smash is confirmed to have anti-air invulnerability, so it's your default go-to anti-air. Now, the enhanced version is not full invulnerable or anything, so it's not a dragon punch, but at the very least, if people are just jumping nonstop, it's the easy answer. If the jumps are too obvious, though, you can make the called shot with the Prowler Stance and then get a lot juicier damage with the Prowler Stance punish counter anti-air. So Knee Smash if you're on the ball, Prowler Stance if you're really on the ball. And yes, Heavy Knee does combo on standing opponents and also combos on lights. Apparently Heavy Knee is not as good as an anti-air, but sure, whatever, take it. More utility is more better in my books. And EX Knee has a very fancy animation and also causes the hard knockdown, which we found out not too long ago, so you get great Oki from it. It appears every time you do EX Knee, the hard knockdown is literally dash forward and immediately guest strike or command grab because you have the advantage. So basically spend meter for a guaranteed mix. Good deal for me. And the command grab, so there's something different about this that you may not be aware of, in that it doesn't work like, say, Lily or Zangief, it works more like Manon. The button you press does not change the damage, it changes the startup speed and the range. So the light has the most range and the slowest startup speed, heaviest has the best speed, but also the shortest range. Versus like a Lily or Zangief, the button you press is range and damage. So I believe the damage is universal for Alex, it's just range and startup, just like Manon. But then again, Alex has so many more options than say like a Zangief does, especially mid-screen. So I feel like, the trade-off is he's just not as much of a grappler. Not to say he ain't gonna grab you, because obviously the grab is, by design, especially off chop and stuff, part of the move set, but maybe the whole course of the battle won't shift on one command grab, like say for a Zangief. Enhanced version, I'm sure, will do more damage as well, and the animation is really cool. And off a chop, the enhanced version, it lets you choose which side you want to dump them out on. You can either keep them behind you or move them in front of you, whatever is more to your advantage. Although dumping them behind you is what gives you access to the One-Winged Angel level 2 super move. And boy howdy do those combos hurt, and hurt a lot. But these are the only way you can get that level 2 super move. You can't do it whenever you want. It's only tied to this very specific instance. So the main thing the video goes into here is Prowler Stance. This is like what makes Alex different than everyone else, in that he has this very unique command stance. He's got a zillion options from it. He can move while in it. It also keeps him low to the ground. Like very low, even so low that overheads will go over his head. So it's mostly upside. Like you get the basic strike, you get lariat, you can cancel various moves from the basic strike, you get slash elbow, you get stomp, which we now know for sure has air control added to it. So he can hold backwards or forwards, and he can control the variation of how far the stomp actually goes, say to bait an uppercut. It starts combo on punish counter, like it just does a lot, right? Like, it's got enough that it's almost its own self-contained hit. Like, it has its own hit confirm combos. Like, you can do a lot while in this stance. And of course, gives you the classic lariat move, which has super armor, and is plus on block, and starts combos, and is everything a boy could ever dream for, really. Even comes with multiple command grabs, because, you know, what if people parry? And one of the fun things about it is some of these moves actually change their animations if you catch them in a punish counter, like catching a parry. And one of them being his famous swing DDT. So he's had this for a long time, and they're trying their best to make sure all the classic moves get in, and this is how it gets in. And looks pretty damaging. Also, for comparison's sakes, here are the two grabs if they just hit regularly. So one's just kind of a basic knockdown, and the other one is a swing over arm breaker. So if you catch him as a punish counter, you get the more elaborate animation, and I'm sure it'll do more damage. Otherwise, I'm sure it'll be perfectly okay damage, but not as fancy. So there's so much upside to the stance, it even gives you like a King of Fighters style short hop as well, right? But you cannot block while you're in the stance. That's the weakness. So I'm afraid a lot of matchups are going to devolve into, do you see him go into stance? Literally just mash reversal. Because unless it's like a true block string, he has no way to defend himself. So lots of options, but a very decided weakness to be sure. Now, in closing out the video, they go over the various super moves, and we have a pretty good understanding of them, right? So, like, his spear is kind of a stock level 1. It's strike and throw invincible, not projectile invincible, and is kind of like your go-to wake up. Considering he has no invincible reversal, this is something you're going to want to use. The level 2 is basically your anti-projectile super, big old clothesline, and smashes the enemy to bits. Imagine if Hondas worked that way and didn't need charge. Can't have Honda being decent though, right? Also, yes, the legendary Scott Steiner math promo is referenced here. A couple notes. One, I appreciate you giving the reference.
But then you take my 75% chance of winning. If we used to go one-on-one and then add 66 and 2/3%, I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning at sacrifice.
If for some reason you do not know what you just saw, just Google Scott Steiner math. You'll see one of the most legendary promos of wrestling history. But this is why the companies need to have me in a paid advisory role, because it's not 159 and 2/3% chance. It's 141 and 2/3% chance of winning. Who wrote the copy on this?
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Amateur mistake is all I can say. If it's wrestling related, run it by me next time. Anyways, back to the level 2 super. To note though, if it catches an airborne opponent anyway, instead it just causes a wall splat, from which you can just keep combos going. Certainly it'll require the juggle to get the maximum amount of damage out of it, but considering he can go into EX flash drop from lights anyways, this might give him a little bit more sass from a basic light hit confirm than some other characters might get. So that's kind of interesting actually. The other level 2, the Omega Wing Buster, because you cannot legally use the One Wing Angel. So yeah, it's as we discussed already. So if you catch him with a chop, EX grab, and then do the back turn version, you get a unique level 2. So you're already doing a lot of damage, and if you just need that extra bit to close out a round, then, well, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. And the level 3, we've covered it now in depth in the previous video. Hey, it has 4 variations. Great. Might also have some interesting camera angles with the Chun-Li swimsuit costume. Just saying, hey, who knows? I don't. But yeah, between this and yesterday's footage, now we got a pretty complete look at Alex. The only thing left is for him to actually come out, which is March 17th. So realistically, it's not too far from now. It's like 2 weeks and change from now. So when he comes out, he also comes out with the balance patch, which will have changes for all the characters in the game. So stay tuned to the channel because I'll have a lot for you to say the least in terms of Alex coverage and just everything that's in that patch. We don't know yet Well, we might know soon, hopefully. We have a Capcom Spotlight coming up on March the 5th, and Street Fighter 6 is guaranteed to be there. So maybe a preview of a balance patch, or maybe, hey, more costumes finally. You know, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you know, it's been a while since the last costumes for Street Fighter. We could use a couple more. Rest assured, whatever is coming our way for Street Fighter 6, you'll find it covered here in depth on the channel, so look forward to that. And that said, my friends, well, that's it for the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.
I hate God!